Today, our main focus is going to be on how prices in some of the key towns in the UK have dropped for sale properties, and also how that's an opportunity for portfolio landlords to buy in. And today, I have an expert with me who's been in the mortgage industry for a very long time. So we're both going to share our insights from the property consultant perspective and a finance perspective. So I'll let Dean talk about how some of the strategies are working today.
Okay, so with buying investment properties, there's two types of way that you can buy it. You can buy it through your personal name, or you can buy it through a limited company. A lot of investors, especially portfolio landlords, they will set up a limited company for tax purposes. So generally what will happen is if you have the intention of buying more than 3 to 4 properties, it makes a lot more sense to hold those properties in a limited company for tax purposes. Now, when it comes to building a portfolio, there's a few different ways you can do it. You can buy properties that are already ready, so they're classed as turnkey. Basically means that when you buy the property, you can let it out straight away based on the condition that it's in. The other way, which is probably more effective, is buying properties either at auction or properties that are below market value. The reason for that is because it gives us an opportunity to not only increase the value of the property, but then also take out equity from the property, which we can then recycle and then invest into another property. And it basically becomes a domino effect. So you buy a property, let's say at auction, let's say for £100,000, spend £20,000 on the renovation, and that property then becomes, I don't know, let's say worth £200,000. We can then remortgage that property at 75% loan to value, and it means that generally we're going to be able to recycle anywhere between kind of 50 to 100% of your initial deposit, take the money back out, and then obviously we'll use those funds to reinvest into the portfolio. So that's generally what we are seeing a lot of at the moment. I mean, Luton at the moment, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say that is what we're seeing. So I have a question for you, Dean. Some of my clients were asking this question as well. Now, people generally know buy to let, right? Which traditionally takes longer. So if I see an auction property, they want me to close within 30 days. How do I access finance to maybe pay £250,000 to the person at the auction company? How would that work?
Okay, so we do a lot of bridging loans for auction properties. So we have clients all over the UK that generally obviously are investors, and to buy a decent property where there's scope to increase the value, generally these are properties at auction. Now, the auction house that you're buying the property from, they'll generally put a deadline of say 30 days to complete. Now, if you go down the standard residential mortgage route, so just let's say a buy-to-let mortgage, 30 days is not enough. You're going to be at least 60 to 90 days.
Yeah,
So
great.
to facilitate buying at auction, we have to go through what's called bridging finance. So bridging finance is short-term finance, and you can choose what term that you choose the loan for. So it can be as low as 1 month, it can be 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, all the way up to 36 months.
Now, what does the exit look like? Say I bought a house, it's worth £350,000, as you say, once it's ready, but we've bought it below market value at £250,000. Obviously, we need to renovate it. Now, say we've done the purchase through bridging, we've renovated the property. What does the exit look like after that? How do you help the clients with that process?
Okay, so what will happen is a client will come to us, and let's say they've seen a property at auction. We then facilitate a bridging loan. So bridging loans, we basically say it's the same as buying a property in cash, because we can complete within that same period without any restrictions. Now, bridging loan in itself is obviously higher risk because it's all very dependent on the exit. So if you're buying a property that has, for example, cladding issues, so when it comes to the exit, if there's issues with the cladding, or let's say earlier we were speaking about flats, if the freeholder isn't going to put anything in place to repair any issues, then the exit becomes a lot harder. But generally, let's just say we have a standard property, buy the house for 100 grand, we've done the renovation, and as soon as we are ready and the property is fully renovated, we then look to exit that property with just your standard buy-to-let mortgage.
Okay.
So it's a remortgage, and there are lenders that will say, okay, let's say if it even takes a week, for example, we have lenders that will do the remortgage even after 1 day.
Wow, interesting.
So some clients, they'll buy properties that don't need any work. It might just be a distressed deal. Maybe it's a repossession or something like that.
So we frequently get asked, essentially, so I want you to confirm from a finance perspective that when they refinance the property, that's not taxable money. They can go on to another project.
Yeah.
And is it true, Dean, that you essentially only start the funding from your personal income comes from just the first time? So if they put the money on the first property, is it true that I can probably build up to 5 properties by continuously recycling? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Because these are the questions we get asked, and I thought it's best we put the expert to answer these questions.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. So it's classed as BRR. So you buy, you renovate, and you refinance. And generally that model is most effective when you're buying at auction or you're buying properties below market value, because there's room to improve the condition of the property, which lifts the price. And then obviously we can then remortgage your property and take the funds out and reinvest. Now, when it comes to the tax side of things, the money that we are able to extract from the remortgage, you don't pay any tax on it because it's classed as debt. And obviously we don't pay any tax on debt. So we can use that money for anything. You don't have to necessarily use that money to buy another property. You can use it for a holiday, buy a car, whatever you like.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I mean, it's very possible. Yeah, we have a lot of clients that use bridging finance, buy properties at auction, and within a year, you know, they've started with no properties, and 12 months later, they've got a portfolio of 6, 7, 8 properties.
Wow, so you can scale to 6 properties with this method
Yeah.
in 1 year,
Yeah.
given a project's not complicated, right?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Well, Dean, thank you very much. I think if there's any other questions that come to my mind, or anybody has them, I've got a list of clients, by the way, that they would love free consultation from you, right?
Yeah.
So we'll pop them over to you. But thank you for your time on how BR works and how bridging works. So it makes more sense to me, although I'm a estate agent, right? But there's some key components that even us guys don't know because you're the expert.
Yeah. No.
So, nice one.
Okay.